Welcome to the Great British Pinball Podcast, and here are your hosts Scott Rundle and Neil McRae.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard our glorious theme tune, God Save the King, and what a king he is. And I'm not talking about the guy in Medieval Madness. I'm talking about old Charlie and his glorious family who, by all accounts, were applying for the wreath of the king to be placed on Pinball Republic by order of the king. Now, we're not really, because that's why it's called Pinball Republic and not Pinball Kingdom. But Scott, this is another episode of the Great British Pinball Podcast, number 24, I think.
Hello, Neil. How are you doing?
I'm good. As I was mentioning just before, I've had a crazy week. My mum had a stroke.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I won't bore the audience with, but the one thing I will say is audience, make sure your parents or your friends or whoever it is, your own power of attorney is in good shape. That's my only comment right now, and maybe in the future I'll talk more about it. And don't freaking smoke, right? The doctor showed me a scan and basically said, because your mum smoked, she's had the stroke. No question about it. So give up smoking. At Vince, I'm looking at you, mate. So yeah, a bit of a crazy week, and also, you remember I said I'd been made. I was worried I'd be made homeless and lose all my pins. Well, it's happened. They're all gone. I'm living in a sheltered accommodation.
They're big and lost.
I've only got a bed and an air conditioning unit. I have nothing else. Actually, no. I'm currently in sunny California with work. And then I'm off for a week. So this is why I said, Scott, let's do a podcast. Otherwise, it's going to be a long time.
Yeah.
What about you, Scott? How's painting in the nursery and buying cots and that?
Just like, yeah, it's been like, how can I put it? Tiring, because I'm having to do a lot of stuff myself. My wife gets up and she's out of breath. She goes for a walk, she's out of breath. It's getting to that stage now where we're nearing the third trimester, and it's like, yeah, it's becoming more of a less of a bump and more of a barrel. It's
I might edit that out, Scott, for your life's dependence.
She'll hear this later and probably hit me, but yeah, no, it's fine. I'd say like it's good. We got I put together the cots and everything like that, and I used the word cots in plural because she made me buy an interim cot, which I didn't even know what the hell that was until it was described to me. So yeah,
what is it they call it? The something basket or the.
There's so much. It's just a license to print money. I swear, there's the big things in the world: weddings, babies, and pinball. Everything is expensive.
Yeah. No, that is a very good way of putting it. Next time I visit your house, I'm going to look at the nursery and think, how many pinball machines could Scott have bought with all of this?
Yeah, exactly. No, I've been putting together my indie. That's nearly done. I'm just waiting on parts, which is always a pain in the neck. My homebrew playfield's in finally. Kind of like just because I got to the point where Holly said she can't lift the playfield in, and it's got a good decent size amount of coils in it. It doesn't look it, but it's maxed out in coils. I think I got like 17 coils in there.
Wow!
And it was getting pretty heavy, and I was panicking a little bit when it went in, but I didn't break anything, so that was the start. But yeah, so it's good. I'm making progress. Got things. Just waiting on parts. It's just a necessary thing in the world at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of parts, so I mentioned in the previous podcast that I bought a World Cup soccer.
Yeah,
and I got it actually pretty cheap, and of course I didn't realize my own advice, which is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably
is. Yeah,
I basically bought a flea pit of a game. And maybe that's my own hard view. Anyway, the good news is that Scott's just got enough time to spruce it up.
I said to him, do or die. You've got a couple of months of window left before I'm not doing it for at least a year. So
I've literally bought every World Cup soccer part that there is, including a playfield from CPR, which gets delivered.
It's almost going to be a scratch build at this rate.
Yeah, and also pretty much apart from the leg bolts, I think. And even
we can fix that.
Yeah,
I'm always a stickler for nice new leg bolts.
No, I agree. And also the decals, and let me tell you, so there are some companies, Scott, that have exclusivity on certain things.
Yeah.
And that's cool, right? I don't mind that. But why does it take a week to post something that should take maximum a day? And then you kind of have to wait another week to get the tracking details.
Yeah.
You need to find out actually it wasn't posted when you thought it was posted much later.
Yeah, that's the worst thing when they generate the label, but they still haven't actually posted it.
Yeah, it's like you can see label generated, but it's not actually gone anywhere. That's just exactly what's happened with these decals, and it's
Yeah.
infuriating. And the worst thing about it is it's kind of two sides of the coin. So I buy a lot from Marco and Pinball Life, right?
Yeah, they're pretty
They are
quick.
they are just geniuses. And by the way, they're the two most popular pinball part locations in the world. Why is that? Because they've just nailed it. It's a absolute kind of mission from the minute they get an order to the minute they post it. Right? It's just it's like that they rolled out Thunderbirds, and I shouldn't have said that, but they've got this kind of mission. Get it in a box, post it. It's just so well done. And having visited Pinball Life, I can tell you in reality, that's what it's like when you're there.
I'd be a kid in a candy store if I saw that place, I bet.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a stunning place, and the guys that run it are just amazing. I got huge respect from that, as well as Marco. I've not been to Marco, but I've met a lot of the staff there, and they're just brilliant. They're so dedicated, and they'll phone me. I've had them phone me. Oh, Neil, we got one of these, and we thought you might like it. And I was like, "Yep, I'll take it, thank you."
Nice.
So, and also Pinball Life, I asked they make parts. I've asked them to make parts for stuff, which they've done. So if you're a Stern Classic fan, they've got the sling kickers that were unobtainable for forever. They've now got them, and I ordered a pile of them. They're absolutely perfect. Please. So especially if you've got exclusivity on something, please sort it out. But I dealt with the ramp guys. I forget what they're called.
There's a few Rampomatics, Starship
No,
Fantasy.
Starship Fantasy. They were awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, I was the delay there because I ordered it online and it said the shipping won't be right. We'll send you an invoice for the shipping. They sent me the invoice almost instantly, and I just missed it on PayPal.
Nice.
And so for this World Cup soccer, new ramps, new playfield, new cabinet decals, every mech or motor or thing.
It's always my favorite thing, like doing like a scratch build on a Bally Williams, because it's as close as you're going to get to like when it was off the factory floor. Do you know what I mean? In terms of its feel, look, presentation, and obviously you can go to town on it and make it look way better than OEM plus kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like a mint build sort of thing
Yeah.
Mint does. I don't need a mint build because a game like that, I'm not gonna wrap it.
I was in two minds of doing that with my indie, but I was like, in the end, I thought I want to make it so that if I ever do sell it, I don't create a divisive kind of like choice on the powder coat or anything like that, because it's Marmite for some people. Powder coat, I think, some people will absolutely love it, some people won't. So,
but also if you put tons of effort into it, will you be able to sell it?
Yeah, will you be able to recognize your costs?
And
Yeah,
there are some games that, I mean, maybe Indies play one of those games that would, but no one's going to pay a lot of money for a World Cup soccer. Let's face it, right?
no, it's not in today's climate anyway.
I don't mind putting the money in for a game that plays well, and if
Yeah.
if the cabinet's all neat and nice and solid, brilliant. I'm not, I don't need it to look like it's got a halo around it. It just needs to, for me, as I've stated many times, as long as it plays well. So yeah, so lots of ordering of WCS parts, and as soon as I'm back from holidays, so I'm in the US for work and I'm on holiday for a week. As soon as I'm back, I'm going to drop it off. I'm trying to buy a few WMS games for the club. So it's not that we haven't got any, we just haven't got some of the more kind of bigger titles that folks like to play. And part of the reason for that is those games are expensive. So, we were talking about Attack from Mars, Medieval. Matt put his two into the club before, and his Attack from Mars was kind of, it was hammered. And then
I bet.
he's got London Pinball is business. They rent these games out. and the club just doesn't allow for taking in games in and out regularly. It's just not.
It can't get rotated then. Yeah.
Nah, it's just too difficult, and he needs constant access. Whereas, like, we're doing an event, a charity event. I'm doing at work. We're taking some of my pinball machines down. Matt's organising it, and that's a one-off. It's fine for a one-off, but trying to do lots of ins and outs, the mall just isn't designed for it. So, rightly so, he's got those games in his location so that he can rent them out to people. So yeah, so I'm trying to. So if you've got like a Bally Williams game, the kind of DMD era, ping me. I might be interested in it. I'm trying to games. I'm trying to find Dirty Harry.
Try Shadow maybe.
We've got a Shadow, so
Okay.
that's there. We got Judge Dredd. What else have we got? Indianapolis 500. We've got Jackbot. We've got the Steve Ritchie game with the mask. No Fear.
Oh yeah.
Probably a few others that I can't remember. But I'd say they're on the they're probably on the fringe of the great Bally Williams games.
Yeah, it's why I used to coin the phrase of B-list tier. So that was like the B-list tier. Then A-list tier for me would be like, Attack from Mars, and then obviously Medieval Madness. What was the other one? Monster Bash.
Monster Bash.
Yeah.
Probably Scared Stiff.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? A lot of people didn't seem to like that initially, but it's definitely up there now in terms of desirability. It's one of my favorites, anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a big fan of it. It's okay, and actually, we've got one of them. Martin Abe, who's one of our founders, has got one. We just need to find space for it to come in.
Yeah,
and that's the other challenge is we kind of, we got this. We're trying to have this balance between new games and all the other eras of games. And we got people like, oh, I love EMs. We've got like 2. We're probably not going to have many more because they're hard to keep running. And then we got the classics, and actually, I think everybody likes the classics to some extent. But the classics are it's just such a widening thing where you've got, System 11s or early Bally Stearns or Gottlieb's or
I think that's the trick, isn't it? You got to get games that are kind of like can take a beating on location, because that's the problem. You're going to get like it's like Pinfest all the time for you then, because people are just sat there on it continuously.
And the older games definitely. So my Shadow has been in the club for a very long time, and you'd never know it being there.
Yeah.
But you look at something like my Indy 500, and it really needs a new playfield at some point in time. Partly because, so I've got this regime of hardening games when I put them into the club, and I didn't do it as good a job on that as other games. I kind of learned after it. And I've actually got a playfield for it, and actually Ant's offered to do the swap for that.
Nice.
So I might take him up on that. Although it isn't a new playfield, it's been, I don't know what the story of it is, but it's in a lot better shape than one I've got. Actually, if anyone's got an Indy 500 playfield, please look me up, because no one makes Indy 500 playfields. I was stunned by that.
But really, there's just like nothing about.
No, they're not made at all, and I haven't been able to find a new old stock one. There was Cruiseman had one a while ago, but I missed it, annoyingly so. Because
the other option is you could do what I did and take your playfield to Restored by Scott in Australia, and they'll sand down your existing playfield and then put a new print on top, and then obviously new clear coat. And the clear coat he's got, I was funny because I was cleaning my games. I did a spring clean on the weekend, and I cleaned up all my games just for I'd get out the cloth, get out the Novus, and give everything a good clean. And the 2 ones that I got him to do for Dracula and for the Cyberpunk, which was Johnny Mnemonic, there's not even a dimple on the clear coats.
Yeah. So I actually found another guy that does the same thing, but he's in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And I was gonna send it to him. Similar thing.
Similar process. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Mark has I think sent them a playfield as a kind of trial. To be honest, I've only quickly. So the other games I'm getting refurbed is Ali, Stern Ali. I got a new playfield for that, which is super hard to find.
Yeah, but
I got a new playfield for a couple of other games, including. Well, I thought I had a space shuttle playfield, so I got one of the lockups I've got full of pinball games and other
pinball parts and stuff. Yeah.
And I open up all these boxes and there's no space shuttle thing. I was like, but what I did find is I somehow managed to have ordered 2 cheetah playfields. So I've already had the playfield swap, but I found another one. I was like, and the cheetah I've got, Scott, is probably the only one in the country.
Nice.
If anyone's looking for a cheetah playfield, I've got one that I might do a deal on. But I couldn't find a space shuttle playfield, but I literally only kind of just glanced at these boxes, and it's just nuts, basically, the stupidity of pinball spend. Oh, I'll buy that. I might need that one.
I think it goes back to what we were saying though about buying stuff, because sometimes it takes so long to arrive, you then forget about it, and then you order another one thinking you haven't got it.
You haven't got it. You put it somewhere. I've got tons of stuff under my pinball machines that are probably, huge. That I've probably bought 4 times because I can't freaking find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, pinballs, the parts things, just, you want to make more money in the parts business, just ship faster. The faster you ship, the more money you make. I guarantee you, if you're in that space now and it takes you 2 days to send stuff out, I bet your business would increase by 25% if you change that to 1 day, because people will just come to you. And the worst thing, David at Retro, the worst thing is having a website that says you've got stuff in stock that you don't have in stock.
You heard that there, David.
No,
sort it out.
No. Boils my blood. But to be fair, David, he did ping me very quickly and say, I actually haven't got all of these. And he eventually got it for me. And this is the thing. When I order parts,
Yeah.
it's typically because I want them quick.
You're like me though. You're basically, I wouldn't say you're impulsive, but it's the case of I've made a decision that I want to do this project and I've set time aside to do it. Yeah. So I need it ASAP. Yeah. 100%. I don't want to come back to it in 3 months. I want to do it in the next 3 weeks.
No, exactly. Absolutely 100%, mate. Anyway. So yeah, it's that is painful, no question about it. But hopefully we'll get. I mean, so I'm hoping to have. James is doing 3 games: Space Shuttle, Ali, and Alien Star.
Wow, he's keeping him busy then.
Well, it's good money for him. I'm paying him well. $5 a game.
Yeah, and a packet of crisps.
Well, we'll definitely need Space Shuttle and Ali. Hopefully we'll have time to get Alien Star on, but these are new playfields with clear coats on them. So those 3 games typically no clear coats.
Well, I imagine that plays really different then.
So Ali, right, is one of the most brutal games in the world. And it's going to step up into a new level of brutality.
I bet.
And I can't wait to play
I love it though, a clear coat. Like, it really does make the colour pop and everything just kind of shines, exactly. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, those bozos that buy cars with the flat paint on them.
Matte paint cars, yeah.
What is that all about? It's the same thing. You want a car to be shiny.
Yeah.
And no, so anyway, that's kind of the mission over the next few weeks ahead of the UK Open, because these games will be in the club as well at some stage. But and then you're doing in WCS. Hopefully, Ant's able to do Indy 500. When you're kind of running like events and stuff like that, at home you buy a game that will last you your life. You'll never need to touch it with stuff like this. If you like the Pinball Republic, my Godzilla has had 12,000 plays.
Jesus.
Right, we've had it literally since the a few months.
Which
after.
one's that? The premium.
Yeah. And
how's the mech holding up? Everything, no breaking on that?
Plays beautifully. So I've had one issue and actually this issue wasn't Stern's fault, it was our fault. The spinner came a bit loose, and of course, instead of someone reporting it, what do? They just fire the ball at the spinner, knowing that it's broken. And it made it. So I had to replace the spinner bits, which aren't cheap.
Yeah,
The
but
spinner itself's 30 quid.
yeah.
And or $30, and then so I replaced that bit. It's again, it's beautiful. The things that are really annoying to replace, and this is a message to Mr. Gomez because you're the lead criminal in this act of brutality. These little blue thin pads.
Oh, the bumper stops. Yeah.
Oh,
Or bumper
so
pads.
I like them. I actually like them from a design point of view, but pretty much every single one that you have to replace on Deadpool, which I've just done.
You should be able to flip them though, no?
You can flip them.
Yeah.
So I flipped one of them. One of them that was actually damaged, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to replace it. Well, I've kept the other side of it for emergencies, but I just thought I've ordered I had the replacements, I replaced it. But the problem is getting the screwdriver in to undo the freaking screw.
Oh, they're a nightmare. Yeah.
Holy
I had to
moly,
buy an
man.
angled ratchet just for that.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It's just and then all the red posts had to replace all of them. Blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of effort into keeping effort and money in keeping those games running. And if you are at a location, you see a game where something's broken, just make sure they know about it, because so the Godzilla thing, I didn't know about it. The same thing happened on Jurassic Park. The post where the ball is snapped, and the ball kept getting stuck there. And I'm like, why does this ball keep getting stuck there? And I had to look at it, and the thing's just snapped completely off the playfield. And actually that led to another breakage. And this is the thing: when one thing breaks, if it's not fixed, it can often cause other breakages. And then the other thing is like we kind of pretty much replaced every single coil stop in the club on Stern games.
They're always, you always get the nice brass shavings of voice.
Yeah, so we got a Hoover to hoover out the games. Big shout out to James and Di, who do a lot of the work on maintaining my games there. It's a constant lifting. If you want, we want the games to be running. We want parts. So I talked about the Metallica issue that I had, and getting those parts was, luckily Stern helped me out. But it was challenging. So yeah, please ship parts quickly, and honestly, the quicker if I know that you've got a website where it's in stock and you ship it the next day, I will order from you. Right?
Yeah, you'll order again. Yeah,
100%. So Labyrinth is on the voyage.
Wow, it's gone up. Yeah, I've put it up for sale.
When I saw it, I chuckled because I thought last podcast you said, "I'm just glad that I'm not selling any games right now," and I was like, oh, "God."
I mean, I'll see what happens, right? Because I've put it up at a fairly decent price, I think, considering what it would have been.
I think it's a great price. I mean, I was actually going to post something about it being a great price, but of course, because we do this podcast together, I'll be like, "He's a shill.
He's a shill." No, it's like, because it's got the topper, it's got the shoot rod, it's obviously packed out. The thing is, people like, I had probably about 5 or 6 people message me now going, "Why are you selling it?" And it's like, you do realize I had the showroom machine for like 5 or 6 months before that, and I am the type of person, normally I get rid of a game within 3 or 4 months. So I've had this one really for 8 months, 8-9 months, so it's kind of a long time. And I was looking at it.
Cancelled your order once you got the showroom machine, mate.
Yeah, well, I looked at it, and that's the thing. I said to like David at the time, I said, I don't know if I really want this now because I've played it through on the showroom, but I felt indebted to buy it.
Yeah,
because it was like, well, I've had the showroom machine. It'd be rubbish not to actually commit on my order. Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. I needed a game to get rid of because I just want something new, but I didn't want to get rid of anything else. I literally looked at all my lineup and I went, no, I don't want to get rid of that. I'll never be able to get that again, or that's really hard to get. So it was like, I got to pick something. And I thought, to be honest with you, it's the obvious. I want a game to keep switching. So I'm going to use that spot as the game to keep switching with. That way I can keep, that way I don't have my mum or my family going, oh, your baby comes first. It's like, this is money that's already sunk. I can just keep rotating it, and then I don't get any complaints. That's my strategy.
Absolutely. Look, it's. I tell you, picking which game to go is so hard. And I
never let go of Metallica. I'm telling you now. That is so good. My favorite.
I've got it wrong twice. I kind of wish I hadn't So I didn't sell it, but I moved my Jurassic Park 2 into storage.
Oh yeah.
And a month later, I was like, nah, that game's got to come back. The other game is Avengers AIQ. My LE's in storage.
Yeah.
I really want it back. The problem is I can't pick what has to go in its place. So
That's for me, though, it's the same thing. I think I will get a Stern as my next rotation game because I like the Insider Connect, and I feel like when I'm playing on Metallica, it's like, oh, what achievements have I not got? So I go and look at about what I'm missing, and then I go and aim for that. It gives me something fresh to do, and I feel like a game with deeper code is probably what I'm looking for. And I think probably I'm like you, actually. I probably wouldn't mind having a JP2 back in because I had an LE, and I probably
yeah,
shouldn't have got rid of it. But
it's a
at the
tough
time, I
great
sucked
game.
at pinball. I'm
Yeah,
much better.
yeah,
I said like
exactly.
much better. I am better at it, I shall say.
Yeah, no, I mean that's it. I mean the other game I would, and I know that this seems to be quite a Marmite topic, which is, the whole the whole kind of what's the word, Dungeons and Dragons, where there's a couple people. I think one person bought it, maybe two, where they literally had it a day and have decided to sell it.
Gone in 3 days. Yeah.
There was two game. One was a pro, one was an LE.
Yep.
The LE, it's up for sale right now.
10
It's
plays.
10 plays. I'm like, I'm sorry, whoever bought that LE is a crackpot because that game is so deep, right?
Yeah.
There's no way you can tell
I
whether
don't think I was going to say, I don't think I'd be able to tell if I'd like a game or not after 10 plays. You
you
need a bit more than that.
definitely cannot, mate. 100%, right?
I think if you're basing it on things like music and aesthetics, then probably you should have just looked at it from a video and said, do I want this game? Because if you're using it as a judgment to go unpack it and then play it and you're listening to the music and aesthetics and going, that's not for me, you've made the wrong decision from the get-go then. Do you know what I mean? You could have
100%.
made that decision before you even opened the box.
I mean, it's partly one of the issues of buying games here in the UK is that if you got an LE of something and you're not in early,
Or you're
you
lost.
won't get it, basically.
No. I mean, I lucked out with Metallica. I shouldn't have been able to get it, but
Yeah.
someone bailed on their order and I was like, well, I'll have it.
Yeah.
I was very lucky.
That is very frustrating. So, look, in Labyrinth, I'm not a fan of the theme, but actually I've played it enough to know it's a game. I like the game. It's good.
It
good
shoots
game.
fine.
Shoots
I
lovely.
say,
It's well made.
it doesn't skip a beat. I mean, that's one thing that Barrels definitely have nailed on the head.
I mean, we had it at the
solid.
UK Open. There was one little bug we hit on it that was a known bug that actually there was a fix for that we didn't know about. But it played solid. In fact, you can watch the video on Backhand Pinball Mark's channel if you want to see it being played by Zach McCarty, probably one of the best players
I
in
like
the world.
Zach. Yeah, he's good.
Definitely check it out. Well, good luck with the sale, mate.
Brings us nicely on to Dune. Should we discuss that?
Yes. Well, actually, I've got one other. I've got one other game that I want to mention. I have bought a game called Doodlebug.
Random name.
I may have mentioned before. It's an old EM game, and it's a fun, really fun game where it's quite a tough game, but you got this thing in the middle, the bug, and you start the bug doodling, and your whole whilst the bug doodles, it adds score. And depending on how you've hit these targets, the score gets bigger. It's a really, really simple game,
Yeah.
but it's mega addictive. And actually, if you go to Ray Day's Pinball YouTube, I think it's on there.
So did you have to import that, I imagine?
No, there was actually. Well, I was trying to import one actually last year from Chicago, but I couldn't get the shipping. They had a shipping company, but they wouldn't ship internationally. The bozos. And it was a really nice one. And then this one actually came up on Facebook, and I probably paid more than it's probably really worth. I probably would have paid the same to import it.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get it. And it's not the game plays lovely. The cabinet's probably in a bit sorrier state than I would have liked, but it plays lovely. It's an EM. It's the first EM I've ever owned, and it worked first time, and I really enjoyed playing. Actually, and we had a UK Open organising committee event at my house. We basically eat curry, talk UK Open, and play a bit of pinball, and everyone was playing Doodlebug.
Love it.
as well as UXM, the game that you don't like.
Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah,
Love
it's
Uncanny X-Men. Sorry,
Uncanny X-Men. Yeah, it is. That's the other game I've bought, and obviously I'm still waiting on Kong. I got the banana. I ain't got the freaking game. And
park your opinions on that. We'll start with June
we'll
first.
come back. Let's go into June. Yeah. So I haven't played Dune yet.
Have you not? Okay.
No, I've not played it yet, but I've heard like polarizing opinions on it. Like,
I've been concerned about it because go on, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so one guy, I don't know why, I got quite a lot of people on Pinside will ping me and say, hey Neil, what do you think of this game? Or hey Neil, what do you think of that game? Right? I think it's part of the podcast, part of the fact I post on Pinside a lot.
Yeah.
And I love Pinside. Robin does a phenomenal job running that circus. I don't know if I'd have the will to run it, but it's a great place, I think. A great community, and I'll come back to that later. He's like, oh, I played. I'm like, I'm selling. He said, I'm selling this thing, which I think was like one of his Grail pins. I want Dune. It's awesome. It shoots really fast. The light show's great. The worm thing's amazing. I'm just sold. And he said, I'm not even a big fan of the theme. And I was like, okay, cool, sounds great. And then I was kind of a bit more excited to play it. And there is actually one close by that I might make. It's close-ish by that I might drive up to Lynn's Arcade. They're in California. It's a bit of a trek, but it's a drivable trek. I might kind of nip up there because they've got a Dune right now. They had a stream of it, and I wouldn't mind playing it. But then I got another message from someone saying this game is the biggest snorefest kind of light show, like kind of box of lights that they've ever played, and basically so again they said the shots are there, but there's nothing to do on the game. So I don't know if that's an early code issue.
It's definitely an early code issue. I can tell you that much.
But he also said that the worm thing, the worm mech, and I've seen a picture of it, I haven't seen it move. This person said that once you've seen that once, it's like it's so slow, you don't want to see it again. And I don't know if that's fair or not because I haven't. It's
hard to say, right? Because like medieval madness with the castle breaks, sometimes people say, "Oh, for God's sake, skip." When you've watched it too many times, but I still find it enjoyable to watch it break. But I've watched a couple of people play Dune now, and the initial videos by Cool Toy were not great. Like put the game in a very bad light. Then there was another video, I can't remember by who, but it put it in a better light, and it felt like it was. Oh yeah, was it from Tested? You know Tested?
Yeah, see, I saw that. I haven't watched all of that, but someone told me about that video. He's the guy that did the other game as well, right?
Labyrinth, yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Savage.
But and when I looked at it, I have to say I have not studied this video in great depth, but when I looked at it, I thought, holy shit, that game's a brick fest.
That's the problem because they're playing it and then they start playing it because they're not. I wouldn't say they're good players. No.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I'm finding so far. But then DRI played it, as in Dry, and I think he's damn good at games, right?
Yeah. So Michael, he's a great friend of mine. Comes to the UK Open. He's used to live here in Europe, Swedish. He's the guy that I was talking about. That's got it up in Monterey.
Yeah.
So I could. And I thought he was at Lynn's Arcade, or maybe it's his one.
He was at one of those shows where he was basically had early access to it. And he put a rig over it so that you could watch him play. And he was bricking shots. And he wasn't making shots either. But he said like they had it on quite a steep setup and they had the lanes out wide. But I just felt like, I was like, I suck. No, I wouldn't say I suck. I'm average or slightly below average on pinball. And I don't like shots that are too tight and too bricky. And it felt like,
no one does.
Yeah, and I just feel like I look at it and I go, oh god, I want to buy it. I like Barrels of Fun. Like I'm very on the fence on it. I'm like, I probably have to wait and see if I play it and like it because the code is very early. The asset warnings are up all the time saying they haven't got approvals yet, which we can obviously talk about another game that hasn't got approvals yet. But it just feels like they rushed it out the door for Kong. And I felt like they probably should have just let that bake in the oven for like another 5 months and then release it.
I mean, if they rushed out the door to try and beat Kong, I think that was a very bad move, because I actually think the title they want to beat is Harry Potter, not Kong.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they are.
I think there was an early leak or something that forced them to rush it out, because I think they were supposed to have that media day with Cool Toy and all those other guys that showed up.
Yeah.
And they kind of haphazardly told everybody, you got to be there now, because there was some leak. And then they ended up trying to do the whole media event in a rush. But I don't know. They need to work on their marketing. I feel like there's something missing there. It's not as polished like Stern does it or as JGP
Yeah,
did it.
I mean, I think this is one of the things where a new company like that kind of marketing's a thing that you kind of, you do once you've sent a box out or something.
Yeah.
Canada made some remark apparently about marketing that we can have a chuckle at later on. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking forward to playing Dune. The light show on it looks amazing.
That's the main. The parts that work look good. And I feel like it's got the makings of a game that I would like. And my wife's a major Dune fan. She's watched the films like so many times now. And she kept hassling me, going, we need to buy this. And I'm like, Holly, I don't want to buy a game that ends up being, I don't know, the next. I'm trying to think what was really like a heavy flop recently. Oh, that's right, Uncanny X-Men.
If only. I think I think it's look, if you're spending 10 grand on anything, you want to make sure that it's right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not to. So I think a lot more people could, like, if you're selling a D&D LE that probably costs you 15 grand and you're selling it for 11.
Yeah.
10 games on it. I mean, what are you thinking, basically?
There's easier ways to burn your money.
people say, oh, well, maybe he's loaded. Let me tell you, right? People who behave like that, they're not loaded for long, is how I would position it.
It's not a profit-making world to do that.
I could tell you the story of a friend of mine who won the lottery and basically 3 years later was flat broken, declared bankrupt.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't. You just got to be sensible. It doesn't matter whether you've got £10 in your pocket or £10 million. If you're not sensible, then you'll end up broke. Guaranteed.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like pinball at the moment, is the world of pinball prices have gone up, but the secondary market is kind of going back to the way things were before the price hikes, and we're now getting that huge disparity on what a game costs you like 15 in the UK, which might be a lot for people in the US hearing that, but that's what it costs us. It's 15 grand for an LE, but likely then you're probably not going to get anywhere near that when you try and sell it. And there probably needs to be some sort of price correction in the future, because I just don't see a lot of people going, I'm going to buy 15 grand LE and then buy the next game, but oh wait, I've got to lose 4 grand to then buy the next one.
You see, this is the thing about people, say, oh, there's an over focus on LEs and LE this, LE that. Let me tell you, right?
Yeah.
I did a bit of work. I did a management degree years ago at Sloan, and I was based with BMW for 9 weeks, couple of months. And one of the debates they have every now and again is about, why do we have these M cars? And the debate goes something like this: it's a lot of effort. We don't sell many of them. And then the question, do we actually make money out of them? They did a lot of effort into studying this on models that had an M car at the top end, and models that didn't. And models that had an M car at the top end sold 25% more than those that didn't, across the whole range. So you'll have seen cars like the X5 suddenly have an M version, not because it's really an M car, because it ain't, right? I mean, it is in terms of, the M team are involved in it and building all that, but it's not what you would call a sports car, or a motorsport car, which is what it's aimed for. But by having that car, sales of X5 overall are up massively, right? And this is the thing about the LE. Everyone talks about LEs and they sell 1,000 of them tops, right? Which isn't even limited, right? Anyone who thinks more than 10 is a limited edition is kidding themselves, right? Proper collectors If there's more than 10, I'm not interested, right? And I collect space stuff. Let me tell you, the really rare stuff in that, where there's two of them, you're getting a very big calculator out to pay for one of them.
Yeah.
So, but by having that kind of, because of the noise of the LE and the collector's edition and the platinum edition, it generates,
Buzz.
buzz, right? Which contributes to sales. But what I think, and I think I've kind of, what's the word? I've kind of sat on the fence a little bit about this, but when you look at the pricing of games from Stern and Jersey Jack, they've kind of topped out the LE and C models at a significant gap from the rest. It doesn't line up with price increases on the lower models, right?
Mm.
The premium's gone up, and I don't know the numbers exactly, but let's just say it's 10%. The Pro's gone up 10%, but the LE's gone up 25%. It's like, what? And that's not the right. Those aren't the right numbers, but it's kind of like that, right?
The method is like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, but I look at the value of it and think this is a scam now, and it's kind of nuts because they've made the LE was when Jurassic Park, I think it was 400 LEs. And the fight to get a Jurassic Park LE was insane, right? And people were posting, "I'm fucked off. I didn't get an LE." There was
scarcity, wasn't it? Yeah,
yeah, and it wasn't anywhere near the prices they are now. I think almost like
I think it was only 10K for an LE at the time, wasn't it?
Might even be lesser than that, 9 maybe.
Maybe 9.
I can't remember. Anyway, and this is the problem, right? The LEs has transformed from a thing of beauty and demand to a thing of ridicule. Where
It's almost become, as you say, like an average product, because you think Labyrinth, as an example, they only made 1,000 of them, but meanwhile you've got Stern making 1,000 Kongs. It's like, and that's as an LE. It's like, well, then does that make Labyrinth super rare? No, it doesn't really. It's 1,000, as you say, is a high number. I would like Stern personally to go back to the way they did with Metallica. I thought they were doing that. I thought that was like a return to form when they said, "Guys, it's 500." I was like, "Oh, this is good." They've gone back to the way things were.
And I reckon if you sold your Metallica now, if you have an
I'd
LE,
probably sell it for the same money I bought it at.
yeah, 100%. I got no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But the thing about, I would say that they've gone one step further, which is they've made the LE, because there's a view that, you buy an LE and immediately you lose $5,000, right? Let's say that's the number. I don't know what the number is. And basically, people that are buying the LEs are now in this class called stupid, right? Because people are saying, why are you buying this? Why don't you just wait for the, if you buy 2 premiums, you get a third one free, effectively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the way people look at it. And because of that, people are thinking, wait a minute, this is nuts. And, the kind of, the golden goose, if you like, is kind of being killed, which is, and it's not about, like, people are saying, oh, it's about FOMO. It's not about FOMO. This has nothing to do with FOMO. This is just the kind of way that these kind of top tier, and it trickles down. If there's a game that sells out its LEs, right? And when I say sell out, I don't mean just the fact that Stern have sold all of them, because they always sell all of them. That's not the problem. But they sit in warehouses. Like, if you want a James Bond LE, the normal one, Electrocon have got one in stock. You can have it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Same for John Wick, I think.
John Wick, it's a great, and by the way, both great games. And in fact, Bond is outstanding. But because it hasn't, the trickle down as well. This game really that good? Because why haven't the LEs sold out? What's
That's the problem, isn't it? Not the confidence in the purchase.
And when BMW, so the last M4 F82 was the shittest M4 they've ever made. I've owned them all, M3s. It was awful compared to other cars. Now, they got lucky because their 2 big competitors, Audi and Mercedes, also made shit cars that generation. They got very lucky. But honestly, the most awful car, and there's probably a million M3, M4 owners about to kill me for saying that, but genuinely, the car before it and the car after it are a million times better. And you know, it just I've driven these cars heavily around Nürburgring. I can tell you right now the F82 is the worst, and because of that, unsurprisingly, all the other sales in the 4 and 3 series for this model are worse than they've ever been. Right. So what did BMW do? They're like, well, the next car, and the belief is that they had. There's a view that they got distracted by all this electric shit and took the ball off what they should be doing. And the call that some people made is they've been distracted by all this insider connected stuff, and they've taken the ball off the thing that matters in pinball, which is the ball and flippers, right? And that's like that. So I don't believe that personally, but I have heard that as the kind of similarity of stuff.
My theory is that they're struggling to keep up with demand on their own production cycle, so they keep making the next title. I feel like we haven't even had Dungeons and Dragons that long in this country, but now the Kong's arrived, and then it's like by the time Kong arrives, the next game will be here, and I feel like that momentum that Stern needs to keep doing to obviously pay for its factory and for its staff, it's spelling not their doom, but it's creating difficulties, I think, for them, because they have to keep this momentum to keep funding the business, basically. And I feel like I would more than be happy to go back to the days of when we used to have just 2 games a year from Stern, sort of thing, not 3, so not 4.
Yeah, but two games. I mean, 2 games a year. I mean, they've always done 3 games a year forever. This is the thing.
Maybe it's when I joined over COVID. Maybe it wasn't the case. But
No,
I don't know.
during COVID, they dropped it down at 2 because there was
Yeah,
frustration that people who wanted a Deadpool were waiting years for it.
sure.
So they said, "Look, we're going to hold off on a cornerstone for one. I think it was 1 or 2 years." I think that was the right call, actually, because they didn't need any new games to sell to keep the factory running. They didn't need new games; they just
No,
needed to make lots of what they had. They had plenty of great games, right? I mean, I kind of, I'm not a full subscriber to that as the only reason. I think it's a contributor that they've got.
I'm just wondering how much space people have got to host all these games. I mean, I know they're not as like space constrained as we are in this country, but I feel like.
But remember, in the US, I mean, just in this area where I'm in the Bay Area,
Yeah,
the number of proper 10 game locations, hubs and stuff, pinball locations, is huge. That's just in this, this kind of, I don't know, 100-mile square that I'm in. There's about 20 places I could go where there's more than 5 games, right?
yeah.
And actually, none of them, annoyingly, are Kong, which made me chuckle. I'll come back to that. But I am, yeah, I mean, I think there's more competition than
Oh, definitely is now. There's so many pinball vendors now. It's crazy.
Those, or actually, let me rephrase that. There's more competent competition, right? I think there was competition before. They were just idiots that, like Highway and stuff like that have kind of gone out of business. But what I mean, and maybe pivot into this. I played Kong last night.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gene. I was looking to play the game, and I thought, whilst I was here in the US, I thought someone's going to have one, and I couldn't find a location with one. So I posted on Pinside saying, "Hey, anyone in the Bay Area got Kong or know where there's a Kong where I can play?" And I actually got 2 invites to go and play at someone's house. One too far away. One was literally on the way here, so I stopped there. And Gene is great guy, lovely house, and lovely collection of pins and a great collection of arcade games as well. We're playing Robotron.
Nice.
I played Kong and it's fantastic. It's actually the game. It's one of those games where you have to play it and see it in person to really get it, because the top of the playfield is just so complex actually, you might look at it and think, "Whoa, that's very complex." It isn't actually when you've shot a few shots, you kind of get it, but it's so packed at the top of that game.
Yeah.
The gong shot is like, it's
Is it as drainy as it looks though? Sometimes I
it's not.
swear.
I don't think it's draining at all.
Okay, because I've noticed sometimes if people don't seem to hit it just right, it seems to bounce it right back at you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if you hit it a bit off center, or you don't hit it with enough power, it'll hurt you. But that's what it's designed to do, right?
Okay.
But it's
how are the shots though? They're satisfying.
Yeah, there's the most satisfying shot is the just thinking about this, the right ramp, the center ramp off the right flipper. You kind of hit with the thing is you get these. There's a lot of what I would call crisscross shots at the top of the playfield.
Mm.
You hit the ball over to the other flipper, and then you hit the flipper, and it's when you nail that combo, it's like, wow, magic.
Yeah. I do notice that. It looks really impressive when people can chain the shots from, like, was it right flipper into left upper flipper into right upper flipper? I was like, wow.
It is a combo in game. If you like combos, this game is for you. But also the drop target sweep is awesome. So Keith said he took that at Quicksilver. My favorite classic game is Quicksilver. So I love it, and it's got they're kind of placed a bit higher in the playfield, and they're not as easy to they're not as approachable, I think is the word I'm looking for. But when you hit that shot and you take all of them down, it's absolutely awesome. The shot to Kong itself, actually, the sculpt, when you see it move close up with your own eyes, it looks so much better than it does on any picture or video.
Okay.
It looks like a proper thing.
To be honest with me, does the spider look like it's going to hold up? Because every time I swear I see that thing move, I think, oh god, that's going to break.
Good question. I think it'll be okay. I mean, it doesn't move massively, and it's actually a tricky shot. I got spider multi-ball a couple of times, but the spider shot itself. But it's a switch shot. So the great thing about it is, as soon as you hit that, you're trying to hit the two spinners, which are quite challenging shots because that just drives the switch hits, which then charge the jackpots. But yeah, I mean, the other thing is the LCD animations. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, they look really good.
Cartoony, but of course they're going to be cartoony because they're not using the movie, right? So if they're not using the movie, they're not going to
dress up and make their own film
actors and run around in a fucking monkey suit, right? Well,
you're volunteering.
I could suggest some monkeys. Care of Pinball Info, but the other thing though, I was thinking about it today. What would be really funny? I was reflecting on the games when I was reading something. Is the kind of art video work that they've gone for. Did you ever watch Harry Enfield?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Harry Enfield it's going to make me laugh because it's so funny. But Harry Enfield does these like black and white kind of adverts from the 40s and 50s.
Right.
Where it'll be like, "Here, woman, your job is to stay at home and wash the dishes." Right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
This game, if they were to put something like that in it with that kind of voice, that kind of 50s...
Well, that's what I didn't understand. They've got the voice actor who was known to do all those pranks back in the noughties, wasn't it?
Yeah, and actually, I'll be honest with you, I didn't recognize him in the callouts. I recognized the guy. So they've got the guy from Godzilla and Jurassic Park, that same guy. Shoot the web. He's in it. You can hear him a mile away, right? I think they're going to have to retire him because he's so obvious now. Honestly, if they did this, if you're listening to this and you're like, "What's he on about?" I'm sure it must be on YouTube. If you YouTube Harry Enfield night commercials or something. I'm sure it'll come up. I might try
Commercial
and find.
skits or something
I
like
might
that.
try and
Yeah.
find one and post it on the website on the YouTube site for those watch on YouTube. But it's a sort. Basically, it's Harry Enfield just being a bit kind of challenging of old ways of thinking. It's hilarious. He's a superstar comic, Harry Enfield, British comic, very, very funny. But yeah, I really rate the game. The one thing is, and this was a bit frustrating, and I kind of feel like I have to moan about it, but his game wasn't online with Insider Connected. The Wi-Fi I've had this issue. Game just falls off the network, and it's impossible to get it to go
I
back.
swear it's the Wi-Fi antennas they use. They're so weak.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. When the games, when the first, when we, in fact, I think my Godzilla still got it in the club. Godzilla, my Elliot Home Hut does. The UK games got this big antenna that was attached to the side of the inside of the back box. I've
Right.
never had an issue with those games, but the more recent Insider one, they just got this little dongle that's in a freaking metal cage, and I'm like, there's no way that's getting
Signal's getting bounced. Yeah.
and it doesn't. You might even get the signal, but it's the whole kind of checksums of it, or you're missing certain key frames. And at the club, it's infuriating because we turn the games on, and you have to power cycle it 3 or 4 times to get it to come on, or you have to reset the entire config of it to get it to come out. To the point where my games at home, I'm about to put cables to them all because I'm fed up with
Ethernet runs.
Yeah, I'm running Ethernet to every single freaking pinball machine. That's how ridiculous.
With the way the update happens, though, it takes a long time through their Wi-Fi anyway. So
no, absolutely, and tell you, when you plug it in via Ethernet, holy moly, what a speed it goes at!
I bet.
But yeah, so I really, Kong, I'm super excited about getting it.
So when does yours arrive then? 3-4 months down the line.
I could give Phil's standard answer, which highlights his frustration with the process. But I believe children listen to this podcast on occasion. And I'm not talking about So I don't know when it's arriving. I paid for it. What seems to be an eternity ago, and we've all asked. I think there's about 6 of us that have asked for them to airlift the game. Right. So what I do know is, thanks to my good friend Doug Score at Stern, superstar. Love Doug. I've known him. He's one of the earliest guys I met in pinball. He used to be at CGC. He's been in the arcade business his entire life, and he's a phenomenal guy. And he told me that all the LEs for export were made last week. They're all finished early last week.
Okay.
It might have been the week before. And just waiting on, a jet airplane, fighter plane to pick them up and fly them to the UK.
Gonna be like Batman style, isn't it? You remember from the movie where he captures that guy and it gets literally yanked into airspace, so to speak.
Yes, I still have this picture of Laurel and Hardy and pianos whenever I think of pinball machines being moved. But the thing is even it'll probably arrive later this week when I'm in the US, and then I'm on holiday for a week. So I probably could have just waited for it to go on the boat, such that they've missed the opportunity. What I don't understand is UXM and Metallica, they literally got them days after the first ones were made. That's what annoys me about it. It's like the parts thing. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it takes forever, and it's like, what is going on? As a consumption, as a high pinball consumer, getting the game to me quickly would be very much appreciated. Manufacturers all over the world, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that would. I'm happily going to pay, I don't know, $500-600 more to have it air freighted. It feels nuts that it takes so long. And I go back, my D&D arrived literally the day they announced Kong. I mean, that's just how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
So, and actually D&D, if you want to play right now, it's going to be in Pinball Republic for probably another 3 weeks.
Nice.
So if you want to play it, it's the only one on location as far as I'm aware. Oh no, actually, sorry, Retroids have got one as well. Shout out to them. If you're in the south, if you're in the kind of Midlands to the north, go play at Retroids. If you're in the south, go play at Pinball Republic. They're both on Insider Connected. You can scan, and shoot to your merely intent. I think the one at Retroid's a pro. My LE's actually on the floor because I'm an absolute head case.
I was going to say.
But I've actually only really played 2 games on it. That's why it's in the club, because I knew I just wouldn't have time to play it. So it's there along with Evil Dead. Evil Dead will be there forever, so no rush on that. But if you do want to come to play these games, clubs open Thursday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays. And a big shout out to Luke, who's opening the Blackpool Pinball Club. I got huge respect for having gone through this process. I've got huge respect for anyone who does this. Wish Luke and Luke Wells and all the guys there who are putting this place together the best of luck. As soon as the membership opens, even though I'll probably go there once a year, I'm going to sign up to be a member because these places need support to keep operating. And hopefully a big contingent of us from the south will visit. Hopefully they'll run a big tournament to kick it off or something. We'll all come up. But well done on that. And actually another shout out to Austin Pinball Collective, who've also just opened up here in the US. I used to go to Austin once a month. I used to play in the local leagues there. I know a lot of guys around the Austin area in Texas, and they've just opened up a collective that looks fantastic as well. So shout out to them. So Kong, great, and let's yeah. So I don't know when it's arriving. Hopefully soon. And a big shout out to Gene for letting me play at his. He's offered for me to go down later this week, and I think I'm going to take him up on that offer. Let's move on to the topic everyone wants to hear about. Yep. It's Harry Potter.
Oh dear, is all I can say.
And the doomsday of the licensing wizard.
Yeah.
I feel like we need like Philosopher's Stone. We need like a licensor's axe. So I don't know if you're up to speed on the rumors, because nothing in pinball is true. It's all perception and rumors. But according to several sources, none of them me, I hasten to add, I read this off Nap Pinball, who is of the understanding that Jersey Jack have ran into an approval challenge, whereby they had approval, then didn't have approval, and hopefully have now got approval.
Yeah, and it's based on Warner Brothers approving it, and then J.K. Rowling suspected as blocking it, right? So
yeah, I mean that's a rumor which I've heard from a few places now, and in pinball, where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I mean, it adds up. I mean, we've obviously had a very unorthodox way of announcing the title, and then it went very, very quiet, and then nothing, right? Media silence. It just feels like there obviously is a problem. And I'd rather they turn around and just say what it was, because if it builds like rumors, right? It could be like, oh God, they've got problems with production, because they started talking about how Mirko are back in the picture for making the playfields now, because Buffenberg, or whoever it was, I think it was Buffenberg, couldn't keep up with the demand. So you're like, oh, is that because of delays in the supply chain now? Are we going to get like rushed parts? Is it going to affect the quality? If they just simply said, actually, it's nothing to do with that, guys, it's just licensing, and left it at that, I think it helps create a little bit of just wait and see. People can go, okay, look, it's fine. We can all live with another 5-6 months without a Harry Potter, because if it comes out and it's great, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? The thread, I'm on the thread on Pinside for Harry Potter, and what's hilarious about it is people saying that Jersey Jacks should say nothing. Nothing. They should ignore all their customers. Say nothing. Treat their customers like shit. Say nothing. I don't know why anyone thinks that is a good idea. And
Sounds like a good idea.
Even if all this stuff's not true, the problem is, and I'm not trying to be critical of Jersey Jack. Genuinely, I could be, but I'm not. Let's say some Jersey Jack games have had ups and downs during the launch phase, right?
Pirates of the
Here we go.
Caribbean,
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz, God, you name it.
So here you have a company with not the best launch track record, although I would say maybe Guns N' Roses and Toy
Guns N'
Story.
Roses, they nailed. I think
No, Guns N' Roses they nailed. Toy Story, I think they nailed
yeah.
as well. And you then have your title that basically you have placed the biggest bet on. Let's not kind of shout around it, but the biggest bet on. You've probably paid a lot of money for it. You're probably trying to make a game deserving of the IP, right? This is probably the biggest IP. Actually, for me, it's not, but I'll go with the flow, right? This is probably the biggest IP in pinball since Addams Family, right?
Yeah.
In terms of
It's definitely
and Addams Family,
everyone knows Harry Potter, let's face it.
yeah, and Addams Family was kind of a reversal where the pinball machine was so good it drove the title, but it's in this. I think it's in the same sort of place in terms of maximum hype for Addams Family and maximum hype for Harry Potter, and you have a track record of maybe not having every release go well, right? So your perception accelerator, i.e., humans who have got stories in their head, thoughts, human things, suddenly think, they've ballsed it up again, rightly or wrongly, right? And it could be that Jersey Jack have done every step perfectly, right? It could be. Yet something that they can't control has screwed them, or something that they might have got wrong themselves. The problem is they're in a land of perception, and the perception in the community now, whether they like it or not, whether anyone likes it or not, is there's a problem with this game. It's not going to be the game that everybody thought it was going to be.
Fear is, yeah.
And that is the rumor. That is now what the perception is, right? And the problem is, one will probably never really know, right? Unless the game doesn't launch till November.
Can you imagine, 5 years from now, we actually see what the original artwork used to look like?
Oh, so imagine. So I think was it Nat that posted this, or someone posted it? Where apparently they've made 100 of these games already.
Oh, right.
So you've got the arcade
cabinet, potentially the playfield all up in there and all artwork done, and then
but you've got the arcade edition,
yeah,
you've got the limited edition, you've got the collector's edition, and you've got the unlicensed edition.
yeah,
right. If there's 100 of those games with this IP that's suddenly become unapproved, the value of those games, Scott, has just gone into orbit, right? And if I was Jersey Jack, I'd be finding a storage unit for those games.
Yeah, to see if you can try and persuade the person or persons that were blocking it before, and then eventually release
just
it.
Occasionally sell one for 50 grand once a year for the next 10 years.
Yeah,
right. That's what I would be doing. But who knows? I mean, it could be that this is, and also no one knows what the change is. No one knows if it's like,
no, we don't know.
Spelling mistake, or the story is, she hates all the actors. They're going to pull all the, I don't believe that the three main characters, Harry, Harmony, and Ginger.
Hermione, yeah. Harmony.
You can see that I'm a big Harry.
She does moan, mind you.
Those three they're the main characters, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that this game will not have those.
It could be anything, right? It could be like Dumbledore's, because remember, obviously the actor died, then we had to change an actor. Who gets presented then on the playfield? Is it the old actor or the new actor? Or so? And obviously, a lot of actors have passed. Do they have rights to even show them? It's a bit like what happened with the idea of Addams Family, what you brought up, right? Gomez, the actor behind Gomez, obviously he's passed away. His estate won't allow his likeness. So when you buy virtual pinball versions of the game, it's a different guy. So I imagine there's all these kind of things that happen when you've got a cast so wide. And let's face it, it's like 7 films. God, there's so many people you have to approach and get
Yeah, but I
permissions for.
I think in the signing up of people to that IP, they'll have figured all that out.
Maybe, yeah.
Hey, do you want the lead part in the biggest novel that ever was made? Biggest movie. But we're going to own you forever.
Own your right.
Here's your 5 million quid. Oh, I'm signing up because I'm only 10 and 5 million quid is a lot of money.
Sounds great, yeah.
I just think they've nailed that. I'll be amazed if they haven't.
Okay.
But who knows? Or it could be that, Harry Potter was in silver ink and it should be in gold. I mean, no one knows what this... Or it could be this is all just bollocks. Some random dude made it up.
It could be that it's nothing to do with licensing at all. And we just had we just had Jack prematurely announce the game when it's not even anywhere near ready. This could all be things.
I have to say that if he has done that, I mean, I heard this. I heard that Kaneda said this on a podcast. Apologies for mentioning he should never be mentioned, but he said something and someone because I'm banned from all of Kaneda's.
You're on the blacklist. You bad boy.
I can't see any of it, thankfully. But what they said is that Jersey Jack is a company that's ran by committee and not by leaders, and I kind of feel that that's true. The CEO, lives in Miami and travels up to Chicago once a month, which I find incredible.
Yeah.
And then Jack's kind of doing all the themes, and all you have to look at is Godfather, Avatar, and
Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4 to look at someone they need to changeovers running the themes. I can't help but think that if Jack announced this when there was still more than 6 months of effort required, he's killed this game.
He hasn't killed it. I think what he's done though is put the whole market on hold, right? Because I think we discussed this off air before, but if you've got people out there going, I want to wait for Harry Potter, it delays their purchasing for any other game because they're like, well, I want to see what this looks like to see if it's worth my money.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. The market is so much tighter that people, there's people that might have bought maybe a couple of games a year, maybe only buy one, or they buy three, they may buy two. And we've had Kong, one of the big titles of the year, Dune, potentially one of the other big titles of the year, but I'm not sure it really is. And then you've had a surprise like Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's game of the year, surely.
Simple fact that I've got one says that that's a game worth of note, right?
Yeah.
You got some laughables like Blues Brothers. You've also got Dungeons and Dragons, which by all accounts is selling well, but actually to a different type of pinball player, which could be. I think we need to wait and see on that, but I think it could be potentially interesting. And then you've got games that we know are coming, but we don't know what the story is. Rumor has it that the Alien Game Over, We're All Doomed Special Edition 64 could also be coming.
The thing is, right? I do sometimes. I've messaged them before because their Facebook, their marketing is just bizarre,
awful.
I'm just like, I'm sorry guys, but what the hell are you doing? Like sometimes I'm like, you show a picture of ABBA, it's like, great, that's literally yesterday's news. Like everyone, you tease your game, you show the powder coat color, and then you start talking about Alien, which was like your first game, and I'm like, what's going on?
What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, they don't. I mean, what was funny? They posted ABBA, or was it Predator? I can't remember which. Someone posted, I think it was ABBA, and then someone posted a Predator, and I wrote, "Get to the ABBA chopper," from Predator. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping it's not the Predator game that burned out in fire. I hope
the non-licensed Predator version. Yeah,
there's this. What was it? Skit B or something. I can't remember the name of it. But I mean, it was basically this guy made a game, sold it to a few people, and didn't have the license, and then got sued.
Right. Yeah,
and is now in a state penitentiary doing hard labor. Apparently, Kevin Kulik, I think his name is. Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I like to say Pinball Bros don't need any more controversy after Highway, but anyway. And then you've got.
They'll. hopefully, right? And I do hope that they actually somewhat do great theme integration. It's hard to tell with them because, as you say, they had Highway, which was not their game really. It was just, you know what I mean? That was Highway's game, and they kind of remastered
Highway,
it. So to
yeah, I
speak.
mean, Alien and Queen weren't their games.
No,
Queen, I don't think is great. It's not awful. It's close to awful, but it's
it's
not.
okay. It's an okay game.
You can see it clearly suffered from a lack of investment.
Yeah,
Um, ABBA is just, it is so bad. I played it
yeah.
again at TPF and thought, why? And I like ABBA. I'm an ABBA fan. It just again made me cry. But and then you've got American Pinball, who, you know, I mean, all people were talking about 2 months ago was American Pinball. Is it going bust? You know, who's going to jail? You know, who did this? Who did that? Where are all the bananas? It's
I think it
now.
always concerns me they keep seem to be having fire sales on their games, and it's like a race to the bottom.
Well, same with, what, is that David or is it
No,
them?
absolutely is them as well. They've been doing it across the board.
Because I noticed, I mean, JGP as well. They've been I've had more Facebook ads to sell me a game I've got absolutely no intention of ever buying, even if they gave it away for nothing.
I like JJP's like aesthetics. I think they really do make a game look premium, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Yeah, they've got that nailed down. I just don't like their code. I really
Yeah.
don't. Guns N' Roses, ugh, no. Just don't want to go back to that game.
Awful, absolutely awful. But so and then you've got American Pinball with Cuphead. Now we know that game's ready.
Yeah.
We know it's absolutely ready. I think it's going to be a great game because the designer is a great guy. Can they get it out? Can they get the wheel? Can they turn the wheel of doom to the wheel of capability?
They've definitely got the promise to do it. Everyone says that their games are built like tanks; they don't fail. It's just like, God, just materialize that into something. Put a damn license behind this that actually people want.
So let's cross our fingers and hope that lands.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I'll tell you one thing I
Really like to
regret
see the
on
designer
that
of that
quickly.
game
I will
smashed.
say, David did offer me at the time when I was looking for a cabinet, an American pinball cabinet, and I was like, it's probably like a Stern. I could do with that, but then I got offered this Circus Voltaire. I wish I could go back in time and get that American pinball one. Finding parts for this in cabinet has been an absolute bane of my existence. Like, it's been so hard. Like, I wish I'd just gone with a more modern cab.
Yeah, there's a lot of unobtainium.
Trust me,
Circus.
I had to find the T-nuts for the wing bolts for the back box. That was effort. No one stocks that because it's like the kind of thing you just don't touch. It's just left in the cab.
Yeah, you never need it. You never need it. So why should I stock it?
But this thing was fully stripped when I got it. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that. I mean, I genuinely want Harry Potter to sell in the billions because I think it would be good for pinball. And I think it is one of those titles that could bring new money into the industry, and the industry needs new money.
I would like to think Jersey Jack is going to do their own version of Insider Connect as well. I'd like that, but I don't know if they will.
I can't ever see them doing it. I mean, the glorious ticket gambling thing seems to have died completely with like two venues buying it. So yeah, I mean, like it's we'll see how it gets on. I think looking ahead, the next title from Stern is Star Wars.
Yes. Now, do you know what? If that is episodes 1 to 3, I am a massive Duel of the Fates. I love that song. It's so good. Darth Maul against Obi-Wan. I love that.
It's not 1 to 3, mate. It's 4.
Is it not?
4, 5, and 6.
Again, no way.
1. Mate, the only thing I like about I'm with you. The only thing I like about 1 to 3 is Duel of the Fates, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing. The rest of it is utter trash.
Well, I like the pod racing. Pod racing was all right.
Bollocks. No, I mean, it was a bit of comedy in it that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
There was a couple of bits in the movie that was, but it was just.
But you honestly think it's going to be 4, 5, and 6 again?
I am absolutely sure. I think it actually might only be 4. I'm absolutely certain about it. And the thing is, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I was Lucasfilm, I would
Yeah.
quietly delete 1, 2, and 3, and I would just have Andor season 1, Andor season 2, and Rogue One as the prequels. I don't know if you watched Andor.
I haven't. No, I got
Okay.
massively put off by a lot of the I would say chaff that came out from Disney on
Okay,
Star
let
Wars.
me tell you, right? Go watch. If people of this world, Andor is absolutely outstanding. It is just such great Star Wars. And then Rogue One, I love that film. It's almost 10 years old, believe it or not. I nearly had
Now
a
I
heart
feel
attack.
old. Yeah.
Yeah, I nearly had a heart attack. I was like, really? Honestly, so literally the end of season 2 of Andor leads you into Rogue One, and the acting and the scripts and the whole thing is the most polished Star Wars I have ever seen. It's just stunning.
Because I got bored on Mandalorian. I was like, it's
Yeah,
just,
I think it got a bit. I mean,
it
it
felt
got
like
a
a
bit
fetch quest every
repetitive.
episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it got better towards the end of the season. Mandalorian movie's out next year.
There's a movie. Oh wow.
I mean, I kind of think they're mad. They should have kept the TV series going. But anyway, Star Wars is definitely 4, 5, and 6.
Weird.
I'm gonna let the world into a special secret. The Death Star eats the ball.
It probably
You heard
will.
it
It has
first.
to, right?
The Death Star eats the ball, right?
I mean, there's got to be that whole part where you go line it up, and you got to shoot the Death Star to destroy it. It's the obvious
The Death
play.
Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's coming. John Borg. Don't know who's on code, but John is the lead
Weird
designer.
though, because you got
I understand it.
Steve Ritchie's one before that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Steve Ritchie's one. Steve, I love you, but that game is your worst game, mate. I hate it.
I think he was a victim of the bomb sacrifice they were doing back then, though.
Yeah, I think they. Yeah, maybe. I just think that. I just think the code.
I mean, the TIE fighter on the spring. You know what I mean?
There's certain things I like about it. Like there are some shots on it that are great, but the plunge is just fucking awful. I just don't know what they were thinking. And quite often you'll plunge it and it'll go straight in the outlane, or you'll plunge it, lose the ball, and the ball save will just literally kick it into the outlane. It's just horrible. Yeah, that's the next game from Stern, and then apparently after that, it's the one that no one in the pinball industry is waiting on. Pokemon.
I was going to say, it has to be Pokemon. That thing has been bloody rumoured for years now.
I kind of despair of it because I think it's going to be
it might do well on location.
I don't know what the game. The problem is I don't know enough about Pokemon to know what could be in the game from either the Pokemon games or the whole Pokemon world.
Man, you're well out of touch then. Like for me,
Pokemon. I am out of touch on Pokemon and proud of it.
the number of pocket monsters, as it would be called, but the amount of creatures you can capture in that, and the achievements you could pile up.
The only thing I've been hoping for is that Pokemon goes into Fortnite so I can gun down Pikachu in all glory.
It's probably coming. I'm sure it is. They seem to get everything.
They've actually right now, they've got, I don't know if you've heard about this, but they've got a proper AI-powered Darth Vader.
Yeah, I have. Because people were making it say stuff
about
it.
Someone made it swear.
Yeah.
Excellent. That made me laugh when I heard that.
But Disney was like, not allowed to do that.
Yeah. I have a bad feeling about this, but no. And actually, apparently, what James L. Jones' family were really up for it because they wanted to keep his voice going forever. And now, so Epic have done the hard work, and I suspect Lucasfilm will get this as a free side show. Yeah. They have got a proper. I mean, this is the thing I love about Epic. When they do something like that, they don't piss about.
Yeah, it's crazy how they can pump out content. They are fast.
It's insane. Although I have to say, the Star Wars season for Fortnite, as a Fortnite player, if it wasn't for the sniper rifle, it would be awful. Probably the worst one I've played in for sure. Anyway, let's move on swiftly. What else do we want to cover? Iceman.
Oh yes,
otherwise known as the chicken. I have never seen and let me tell you, right, I have dealt with some bozos in my time. Iceman, mate, you have reached the sainthood of bozoism. For you to challenge me at pinball and then literally try and Iceman your way out after I put $5,000 on the table is a travesty.
Brings the whole term "put your money where your mouth is," and he definitely didn't.
He's still like trying to shape it into something where he doesn't either losing me a pinball, and I'm not like this. Is the thing he's winding me up about. Well, your IFP rating shit. Well, what's your IFP rating? I don't even think he's got one. So I am not letting you get away with this, Iceman, my friend. I'm afraid at every opportunity for me to remind the community of the chicken shit ass that you are, I'm going to take it. I'm going to love every freaking minute of it. Right, that's that out of the way. So a couple other things coming up. Swavesy Pinball Show here in the UK. Let me just find the date. I've just suddenly realised I don't know what the date is. Scott, you should come to this before you're tied to
before my life is over.
The nappy store. Your life, as you know it, is over. 11th, 12th, and 13th of July at the White Horse. Mark Squires, who runs, it's the last one ever, which is why why the reason why you should come. I'm probably going to take either Evil Dead or D&D or Kong to it, whatever is newest and great. Mark is an absolute superstar. He's actually in the mobile phone industry. I knew of him. I didn't know him until got into pinball, but he does a lot of work for schools now. He's retired. Absolute gentleman, and I'm really looking forward to it. Great gig. Hopefully we get sunshine. But if you're up for it's just basically a pub with some pinball machines in it and a couple of marquees outside.
Nice.
We basically drink beer, play pinball, and shoot the shit. It's awesome. There's no timetable or it's just chill out and have some fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
Pinball should always be about.
Yeah, there is a tournament on the Sunday, which I'm hoping to do better than last year. I played absolutely awful last year, so I'm hoping that I did get a crap set of games. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, that's it. And then we have Pinfest, the third weekend of August. Rooms are sold out, so but tickets are still available. You can bring a game if you want to bring a game. Bring a game. This year I've decided not to bring any games because honestly the effort is high and I'm lazy predominantly. So I'm hoping everyone else steps up. And look, here's the challenge. If you've got games and you've never brought a game at Pinfest, right, help us make it not be the same people who always bring games. That'd be great.
It always keeps the fresh lineup as well.
Indeed. I'm not even going to play in the tournaments. I'm just going to chill out and have some fun.
Check you out. Nice.
I will have a special T-shirt, like every year. And actually, if you want to advertise your organisation on my T-shirt, make a donation to the National Autistic Society of £500, and I will put whatever you like on the T-shirt. Except Iceman is cool.
I'll do variations on that now.
Yeah, Iceman is an asshole. I will do that. In fact, I might even give you a discount. Just kidding, Iceman. Right, and then after that is UK Open at the end of September. Tickets go on sale the 1st of July. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about coming and you're outside the UK, now is the time to buy flights. Flights are really cheap. Please buy flights now. It'll save you tons of money. You can either fly into London Heathrow or London Gatwick. London Gatwick's actually easier and typically cheaper if you're coming from Boston or New York or Florida, particularly Orlando. There's lots of flights to London Gatwick that are well priced, and the prices from Orlando getting better because unfortunately it seems like no one wants to visit Disney anymore. I don't know why that is. No one wants to visit Orlando anymore or go on holiday in the US, which is a great shame because the US is a phenomenal place. That's where I am right now. And the only other thing that I wanted to mention, or did we mention? I think we mentioned it actually.
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think so. I think we are done, Scott. Almost uncharacteristically on 1 hour 31 minutes.
It's not bad, right?
Almost stuck to
Our time slot.
our time slots. And on that note, hopefully by the time we see you next, you'll have had it's half term, so everyone gets a holiday. Oh, there's also one other thing to shout out. Sorry. The European Pinball Championships is coming up. It's a massive event being held in Austria. Stefan from RS Pinball has absolutely bust a gut to organise a massive, massive, massive event. Wish everybody there well, because he has put in mega effort. Apparently, that was going to be the launch place for Harry Potter. I don't think that will be the case, but my spies around the world have told me that there are 3 of these unlicensed Harry Potter games
Wow.
in a warehouse in Austria somewhere.
Need to go hunting for them.
So yes, I mean, they could be worth big dollar to
Definitely.
the pinball industry. But as I say, my spies have told me that. I have, and in case you're wondering, I have spies everywhere, even the one right behind you right now. So on that note, we'll.
Well, I did forget. My wife will kill me if I don't mention it. She has finished her artwork for her latest commission. The playfield has been, I think it's being printed at the moment. So keep an eye out on Restored by Scott on his Facebook page. You'll see a Captain Scarlet. That's the theme. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, and that'll be her finished artwork. So hopefully, it looks as good as it did when she did it on the Wacom. But yeah, we'll see if it's come out on the playfield nice.
And is this for commission?
This was a commissioned work that she did for a guy in Australia. Yeah. So basically, that's all done and dusted. It's all been
Captain Scarlet the puppet, as in the Thunder.
Yeah, like from the Thundercats kind of era.
Oh, awesome.
Thunderbirds. Sorry, Thunderbirds era.
This is the voice of the Mr.
Yeah, she's done all that. Honestly, it's actually.
Know we can see you.
She's not the biggest fan of Captain Scarlet. I had to kind of get her to watch She remembered it as a kid, but not too much. So she had to get.
It's not the strongest stories. Let's say it's okay. It's fun. It's okay.
But yeah, she had to go back on YouTube and watch a couple of episodes. Yeah.
Yes. No. Hopefully, whoever's making Captain Scarlet, take a great look at a game called Thunderbirds and do everything that game hasn't got.
Pretty bad.
That is a guide to certain doomsday. And on that upbeat, positive note, just a reminder: if you live near venues, go play in venues. They need your coin, they need your engagement, and we've got Blackpool Pinball Club opening. That's amazing news. Hopefully, one of many more to come, I would hope. But it's great to see someone else setting up a club. We got Tilt, we got Retroids, we got Level 3, we got Pinball Republic, we got Special and Lit, we got Chief Coffee. Go visit them, stick some coins in, buy a T-shirt, take pictures and post about it on Facebook. Take someone. Here's everybody's mission for June. Take someone to a pinball location that's never played pinball. That is your mission.
Yeah.
And my spies will be telling me how successful you've been. Scott, see you in a month. Everyone else, see you in a month.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.